I will be talking about developing primary school curriculum for talented students and action research. This is an infrastructure project which is financed and supported by our scientific research projects department. We have a crowded team of researchers. As you could see, I am a member and I'm the consultant member of that group. I am an academic at the Child Development Department at Hacettepe University. Identification of gifted and talented students, and I help the parents. In this project, I worked as the consultant. But as today is the day of the Remembrance Day of Professor Selahattin, they couldn't make it today, but they sent their greetings to everyone. Gifted students are different in terms of their attributes and needs from their pressures. So they need different approaches in the education practices as well. So this could be one of the different approaches, the thematical approach, which we studied in this project. And very briefly, let me take you through the thematical approach. Well, the students are given the opportunity to learn by experiencing, by living, based on asking questions, questioning, problem solving, so that the learner could structure the information. So we believe that could be impactful. And in the thematical approach, the education program is shaped on the basis of themes or particular theme. There are activities interdisciplinary activities in which problem solving, critical thinking and creativity are enhanced in terms of the high level thinking skills. So they are given opportunities to improve these skills, as well as being able to think from looking at things from a multilateral dimensions. Why did we do this? We wanted to develop the primary school program based on the thematical approach, so that the gifted students' different capability needs would be met. Well, this research is an action research to come up with solutions to the problems gifted students might encounter. And in terms of the working group, a primary school in Ankara, this was conducted in a support education class. Those who are in this class and were previously identified as gifted students, 6 students from first grade and from third grade levels, 12 students were chosen. We had semi-structured interview forms and observation forms, and in the pilot implementation we had screening tests, self-evaluation form, peer review form, product dossier, in-class observation form. When we look at the phases of project, the first phase was the development of the education program. We had a needs analysis in which there were observations and interviews, and then we received the results from the needs observation or identification, and we adapted the output in line with the Ministry of National Education learning programs. We designed the education situations and the testing situations, and in the second phase we did the pilot implementation of the program, screening tests, peer review, self-review, product dossier, in-class observations, interviews with the students were conducted, and we did the analysis. I would like to talk about the needs analysis. So they were received through interviews, and To develop this program, well, first we had to know what was necessary and talk to experts from the field, gifted students, teachers, administrators, and parents, and we used such data. We analyzed this data. There were different titles, and this is what we had in terms of the findings. We had high sensitivity, early development, high motivation, and creativity, which were highlighted. But when their needs are not met, there would be alienation, introvertedness, low self-perception, and communication problems. What about the problems encountered by the teachers, the properties, the requirements, problems, and challenges? So the teachers indicate that gifted students have a perfection, leadership, self-confidence, fast learning, high performance, creativity, high cognitive and emotional properties, plus acquisition of the communication skills, fighting against failure, need for love, and different educational needs such as differentiation and enrichment. The administrators of the school, the duties, the properties of the administrator, the challenges and problems of the school, attributes, and the expectations. They stated that the needs and expectations of the gifted students should be considered in terms of the designation of the school function and the learning environments. One of the challenges is that the students do not comply with the rules and they don't accept the limitations. The other problem is they have that inflated self-perception of the gifted students. And the parents gave their answers under these titles. Well, they are sensitive, perfectionist, curious, responsible, and ambitious students, but there are problems of introvertedness and, lack of organization. They are disorganized as the negative attributes, and they expect schools to support their development, creativity, and their strengths. So the schools should put that support. When the gifted students gave their responses, they believe they are questioning, curious, sensitive, researcher, and leaders. And in case of fear of failure, their levels of anxiety are elevated. When they feel comfortable and in a sincere school environment, they feel themselves much better. They expect the classes are full of fun activities, different and interesting information, and the teachers should be loving and sincere. When we look at the interviews with the gifted adults, they provided their response. In their education lives, they had insufficient prospects of education, and the teachers were not performing very well. Hence, so they couldn't make use of their potential. They couldn't reach their potential. So there should be more awareness in the society and in the schools. The observations. There were many observations within the scope of needs analysis. In a post-school enrichment program in a university was observed, and in another university, the early child program for gifted students was monitored all throughout 33 classes.
Bu izlemlerini de gözlem formlarını
and the observation forms were filled. Well, they looked at the teachers in this environment. Well, they looked at the attracting attention, stimulation, asking questions, giving examples, feedback, correction, and the guidance, and the class management. They looked at their observations. They looked at these aspects. And mainly the focus is on asking questions and attracting attention, withdrawing attention. So they ask more, they try to ensure participation by asking more qualified and withdrawing attention questions. You can't hear me. I wish you had told me earlier. Sorry.
Zamanımız var mı hocam?
Do I have time? You have to be very fast. Okay, then I can skip this part. Following this needs analysis by Minister of National Education, the General Directorate of Education and Discipline, we looked at the outcomes within the scope of 1st to 4th classes. There are examples of such acquisitions. I'm not going to read them. You can see them. As you could see, there are different classes. There are different disciplines. Then we did the pilot implementation. As we mentioned before, this was in a support education classroom. First and third year students were involved in the pilot project. Unfortunately, second and fourth year students couldn't be involved because of lack of gifted students. So that's what we did. With the first year students, we had 9 classes. With the third year students, we had 12 classes. Sorry, you have to be very fast. Can you wrap it up? Okay, I will wrap it up. The theme was global warming in the pilot project and the preservation of natural resources. Video and photograph slideshows were used in teaching, and the reading texts, drama activities, and towards the end of the activities they did writing, but mainly they were given research tasks. Different data statistics were compiled. They brought them to the class to share with their classmates. One researcher filled in the observation form to observe the behaviors of students and teachers. These are some examples of the materials. Well, the world is similar to a cone of ice cream, to make it more interesting. And these are cartoons about global warming. This is students' own drawing. The graphs, they are very much interested in graphs. This is a graph about reading books. This is very interesting. A daily lineup of activities. What activities constitute what part of the day of the student, and testing examples. Self-evaluation. The students did the self-evaluation. Some debates. We did some debates in the activities, and the students scored their peers. They reviewed their peers, scored their peers. The monitoring test we did right after every activity. Pilot implementation findings. What about the teacher behaviors? Well, teachers ask high quality questions. Sorry, can you finish it? This is the last slide. Teacher made a good class management. Student behaviors all throughout the activities. They said they enjoyed it, they felt stimulated, and their sensitivity levels were high. Well, the activities were appealing to their high-level thinking skills, and the various methods and techniques were in line with their individual needs and interests. In terms of the materials, many of them were used, and they were enhancing their creativity. The classroom climate, environment, and the interaction among students had a positive quality. Well, the measurement, evaluation, tools and practices were very useful, and they offered good feedback for the teachers. This is something usable in the support education classes, which would facilitate the gifted students to improve their skills. That would be all. Thank you so much.